I received a message at the weekend from someone who was really interested in becoming an interior stylist, and I thought it was worth jumping on and just sharing my thoughts and really what the answers I gave to her were about starting from scratch. Because interior styling isn't just about working on magazines and working for company brochures, creating lookbooks. There's a whole world out there. But let me read you her message first. She sent 2 messages. So I replied to the first one, then she came back with another. Let me just share those messages with you. So the first one reads, "Hello, I'm looking to start my own interior styling business. I've been doing some online design projects and I find I don't like doing it. I like being in people's spaces, not online. Also, I want to focus more on styling and not full interior design services. Can your course help me start a career in interior styling? Thank you." And then when she came back with another question, I'm going to answer them all in one go, so I'm going to read you the other message now as well. So her other message was, "I've been listening to your podcast. It seems like most stylists, including yourself, have an extensive background working in fashion or some sort of creative position for big named companies before starting their own interior styling career. I don't have that experience. I'm starting from scratch with a passion for beauty and design and an eye for it. I'm having my doubts. I'm having my doubts on being able to do it. Can you give me your thoughts?" So there's so many things wrapped up in these questions. And the first thing that I want to say is that you don't have to work on, I think I've already said this, you don't have to work on magazines and for brands. You can work in people's houses. You can style up interior designers' projects. There are 1,000,001 different kinds of styling jobs that you can do that don't involve doing any sort of photographic shoots for magazines and brands. I talk about this predominantly because that is what interior stylists who are members of Inside Stylists are all about. We're professional stylists. We do the big name shoots, the kind that cost quite a lot of money because you want those professional just that professional level going out to advertisers. It's going on TV, it's going on billboards, it's going in magazines, all that sort of thing. So you do need to hire a professional team for that. And that is what the interior stylists on Inside Stylists are predominantly doing or learning to do. But that's not the only way to do it. So one of the things she mentions is that lots of people come from creative backgrounds. So to start with, not everybody does. The people that you've heard on my podcast, namely interior stylists who are existing, I usually interview people either I've met or I've had conversations with when they've joined Inside Stylists, and their journey is really interesting. And they might be an assistant who has started in one industry and they've moved over into interior styling, and that's a really interesting journey. But that's not the only way. You can come from completely different backgrounds. You can come from completely corporate backgrounds. There's no rhyme or reason. There's no rules on where you have to come from. You can come from absolutely anywhere. You're just hearing a snippet of who I've spoken to. So if I've spoken to 10 or 20 interior stylists and assistants and writers, you're going to hear the ones that have those backgrounds. But for all of those 20, there's another 20 who have come from more corporate backgrounds. So what I'm saying is it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter at all what your background is. And don't feel imposter syndrome over that. That is not a problem at all. A thing I'm going to mention here as well, which is something that I am bringing up. This isn't something that this person came up with a question for. It's that age isn't a problem either. I have quite a lot of people coming to me saying, "Oh, well, I'm 40, I'm 50, I've had a career and I'm starting from scratch, and am I too old?" I just wanted to point out that age is relevant, absolutely irrelevant. It doesn't matter how old you are at all. What matters is the experience you have for coming into styling. What matters is you have a passion, you like to keep on top of the trends, you like to see how people put the shoots together, how people put rooms together. What is it that people are doing at the moment? And can you bring that to the table? Can you bring that to someone's home or to a shoot for a brand or for an interior designer who wants a specific look for a project that they've just completed? If you're passionate about interiors, that's what's important. Your age is completely irrelevant. And what I think a lot of people do is they think, well, I've been in a career for a really long time and I've just turned 50, but I want to be an interior stylist. I'm starting from scratch. I've gone from top of my previous job, top of my game there, and now I'm coming in at the bottom. But actually, you're not really coming in at the very bottom because you have all the experience of whatever career you've been in. You're going to bring that with you to the table. Interior styling, whatever form of styling you do, is massively about logistics and organization and making sure you've got everything, making sure everyone knows where they need to be, the vans and the props and the couriers and the clients and the briefs, and you have to put it all together. And when people say they've been out of the workplace because they've been looking after their kids for the last 8, 10, 12 years, I'm saying, well, the emails that come in from school and the organising of kids, and especially when you've got one who has to go swimming and another has to go to rugby, and all those juggling things are useful tools to have in your arsenal. When you're an interior stylist, you have to be able to juggle a lot. And that is exactly what mums do. So don't write that off. That is a massive, massive skill. The other thing, what was I just going to say? I was just going to say something really juicy. Yes. The other thing is, don't compare your beginner stage to someone's 10, 15, 20 year experience. I mean, I've been doing styling for like, 25 years. 25 years already. Don't compare your beginning stage to my 25 years experience. It's apples and pears. You're not comparing like with like. You start down, at the beginning stage. You're going to be a 50-year-old who has to go and do work experience, but you're going to move on fast, and you're probably going to have a lot more confidence than someone who's just come out of uni or is starting on the career ladder at the very beginning and isn't used to working with other people or how the working world works. Go in there with your confidence, and if you haven't got it, just pretend you've got it for a little bit, and go out there and just get yourself into the field, get yourself out into the jobs, into the experience that you want to do, and show up with all those skills that you have. I've got so many things to say. I've got a list, so I don't forget anything. That's why I'm looking down. When you're going to be doing styling in people's houses, which is what this person predominantly wants to do, she wants to go in and help people. Maybe they have had an interior designer come in and they've designed the space, they've moved walls, they've put in a new kitchen and the bathroom and chosen wallpapers and paint colours. It's those finishing touches that make a house a home, and that is what stylists do. We come in and kind of curate what you're seeing when you come into a space, and predominantly the stylists on the inside, stylists are curating an image so that the hero or the inspiration is what you're seeing when you look at that shot. But when you want someone to come into the home and look at what you're doing, or how you've arranged things in your living room or whatever room it is, how it looks when you curate it all together. Do you just want a row of books? No, you don't want to do that. You want to mix it with accessories and art and how you position things and the shape and size of things. When you're going in to do that, you're going to create a style of your own, and that's a really important thing to remember. If you've done an interior design course, you will find that you are really drawn to certain styles. So for example, if I was going to go and style someone's home, they would probably come and hire me because I like to find old pieces of furniture and paint them, sometimes a little bit wacky. In my spaces, there's very rarely anything new. People would get to know that about me. They would know that I like colour. I like to mix and match colours. Sometimes I clash them. I would always find a piece of furniture with a beautiful shape and I would paint it, and I would put that into their homes because that is what I'm known for. And that is what I would bring to their project. That's the styling I would bring to their project. And you would find that your style will shine through. So for example, if someone wants a really neutral home, they're not going to go to a Kit Kemp who's all about pattern and beautiful colours and curation. And although she can do neutrals, she's kind of I think she's kind of like a modern day maximalist. Same if they want someone who wants a really bold colour. They're never in their home. They're never going to go to a Kelly Hoppen who's all taupes and neutrals and calmness. No kind of shaking up of the colours, no red thread going on there. You will be known for the style that you have. You are going to be sharing that. And I always recommend, when I teach styling for interiors, I always recommend people start sharing images of what they're working on now out on social media. Get your name out there, put it on LinkedIn, put it on Instagram, wherever you feel like you want to focus your energy on. Put images out straight away, because the images you're putting out now that you are not going to feel ready to do, you are going to feel really uncomfortable when you do that. You're going to feel like something's not quite right and it's not quite ready and it's not polished enough. Doesn't matter. Start putting images out of the work you're doing in your home. If you're helping out a friend when you've got your first few projects, just keep putting those images out, because what will happen is you will start, and then in 6 months' time you will have moved on, and in a year's time or 2 years' time or 5 years' time, when you scroll back and look at those first few images, you will see the images that you weren't ready to share and that weren't polished enough. but you will also see the journey that you have, like where you have progressed through your journey, how you've improved, how your style has evolved, how your look and your kind of your whole vibe has grown from those first pictures. And when a potential client looks at that, they're only going to see progression. So always put that out. Also, you never know who's looking. You never know who's looking at the beginning and they're going to just keep an eye on. I'm planning to have a project done. I haven't got the money yet. I'm just going to watch this person. Let's just see what they put out. And every time you put something out, they're like, oh, I like that. Oh, I like that. And then when they are ready in 2 years' time, they've been following your journey and you have just been honing in on your style and affirming that your style is what they're looking for. So when they come to find a stylist, you're the person that they come to. So always put content out, even when you're not ready. What else did I want to say? I wanted to say that there are more jobs than styling for brands and styling for magazines. It's a very competitive industry, and this person just was kind of moving from interior design into interior styling, and she hadn't even thought of doing work for designers. I mean, I see people going and I mean, I've done it myself. I've styled projects for interior designers have done, because sometimes they are more structural and they've got all the kind of the wall moving and they've created the space. They either sometimes don't have the skill, don't have the time, just want someone else to go out and spend a couple of days propping. They don't want to do it. They want you to come and do it. So that is a job in itself. I've done that quite a lot. And I know a lot of other stylists who've done that as well. That is something that a kind of new to styling person could do quite easily. And going into people's homes as well. There are so many jobs. I actually have another video planned to share some jobs that you can do if you don't want to work for brands and those big scary shoots, or for magazines. And the last thing that I want to talk about is imposter syndrome. When she says she's having her doubts and she's not quite sure, I just want to share, everybody suffers from imposter syndrome. Everybody. Basically, you're pushing your boundaries. You're stepping outside of your comfort zone. You're doing something new. It's a little bit scary. It makes you feel like your blood is rushing out of your body because you are so cold, because you're so nervous. That's a good feeling. Go with it. Imposter syndrome affects everybody, but you do have to just ignore it and just keep going, because if you don't, you'll just never start. And you have to start. You have to just get the ball rolling. You have to put your feelers out. You have to tell all your friends what you're doing so that they know what it is you're doing. And if they haven't got if they don't need your services, someone else might do, or they'll suddenly hear their partner's boss is looking for someone and you're the right person for them, and the timing falls into place, and then it's word of mouth, and it literally goes like that. It's a snowball. It will just snowball. I did a podcast recording with a confidence coach called Lucy Cox. It's episode 127. I will link to it down below. I was super vulnerable in that podcast. I did a workshop for the members of Inside Stylists with Lucy, and I then edited that recording for the podcast, and I can't remember how much stayed in. I think I was listening to a lot of Brené Brown, and I was like, let's be vulnerable here and share lots of stuff. I think I was super vulnerable in it because, like I say, I'm a super confident person, but I suffer from imposter syndrome the same as anybody else. And the way she explains it is super interesting, super interesting. So if you are looking to kind of understand imposter syndrome more, then go listen to that podcast. I would definitely I will put links to finding Lucy below as well. She is very interesting, really inspiring. Love her content, really love her content. So definitely go give her a follow. Yes, all of the information on this is in a post over on Inside Stylist, of which you can find below here. I will also share some of those podcasts with other interior stylists and writers and assistants. So if you are looking to get into interior styling, you can hear how some people get in. But just remember, I have just said at the beginning of this video, they are coming from creative industries, but you don't have to. You don't have to. You just start where you are, because that's the best place to go. Okay, any questions, do leave them below and I will get back to you and answer them. If you have any thoughts, I would love to hear them. And if you've got into interior styling and you didn't come from a creative background, do leave a comment below and just reassure those people who are starting from scratch. Anyway, that's all for now. Have a great day.